Hello. This is take 3 because I uploaded my second recording of the book report information and then I accidentally deleted the wrong video. I meant to delete the first one I posted and I deleted the good one. So I am sad, but here we go again. Welcome back to part 3 for me, part 1 for you. Just kidding, this is only part. Information about the book report. Because I've done this like 9,000 times, this is probably going to be a little, it should be helpful still. I'm basically going to walk you through what I did to set up my book report. Okay. So what I think is best is if you type the first half of your paper, make the poster, and then come back and write the second half of your paper. What do you mean by that, VDH? Well, I'll tell you. All right. Here is the written format that I think is most important for you to understand, because formatting a paper in MLA format, which I will talk about later in the year, is something that you will use all throughout high school and if you decide to go on to college. So it's a good thing to learn. I'm sure Mrs. Crowell talked about this last year, but let's look at it. So I'm going to type out my paper. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure it's in Times New Roman 12-point font and that everything under line spacing is double spaced. So then I'm going to write my name, click enter once, and then the class period, third hour English 8. The teacher's name. I don't like going by Miss or Ms., so just VDH is fine. Then the due date. I don't have the exact due date yet because I'm a bad person, but I will figure it out. So then the first thing I'm going to do before I even start writing it is, you don't need a fancy title for this. Just give me the title of the book and the name of the author. In this case, the title of my book is called A Brazen Curiosity. I'm going to italicize it. You must italicize the name of the book no matter what when you're typing it. No matter what. Anytime you reference a book title, it must be italicized. So I italicized that, and then I went back to normal font for the rest. And now I'm going to start typing. Like I said, I would split this into 2 sections, parts 1 and 2, and then take a break and come back. And I'll show you why. So paragraph 1, when you start writing a paper, so you centered this, right? So when you type this, you click this button to center it, and then you clicked enter, and then you aligned it to the left. Whenever you start a new paragraph, as you know, you indent just by clicking the tab button once. Then your first paragraph is just a summary of the book, 5 to 8 sentences, and this is going to probably be your longest paragraph. Describe to me when it takes place, who are the characters, what is the conflict, how is it resolved. I think finding at least 5 sentences to summarize your book should be pretty easy. Do this in your own words. I'm begging you. Well, I'm not begging you. You should be begging me, because stealing anyone's work is plagiarism, and you will get a 0. And it's important for us to know that plagiarism is just stealing, and you could lose your spot in a college or even lose your job because of stealing people's work. So even if you think your summary isn't going to be good, it's going to be better than getting caught plagiarizing. Okay, I'm pretty good at catching it. Of course, people slip through the cracks, but don't assume you'll be one of them, and just write it in your own words. Okay, so I did my 5 to 8 sentences. I summarized my story. Second paragraph, a little shorter. I still think it could be 5 sentences. So again, you'll click enter and then tab in. I don't think I needed to click so much there. Enter and tab, but I'm just spacing it out so you can see. But what's your opinion on the book? Did you like it? Why or why not? What was your favorite part? Why or why not? What would you rate this out of 5? Or how many stars? Or out of 10? Or like a percent like they do in Rotten Tomatoes? That should be about 5 sentences. So now that you've given your summary and your opinion, I would stop and then make your poster next. Now before, in the other 2 videos, I did my step-by-step, but I think you guys can figure this part out on your own because you've already learned how to do this stuff. I like Canva if I'm going to submit something digitally. So I went to canva.com and I picked my poster here. So I need to make sure, let's just check through it. Oh, got the title of the book and the name of the author. Perfect. And of course, I can move this around as much as I want to, what I think will look good. But of course, it's up to, it's your choice. I made this in probably 10 minutes. So I've got the name of the author. Remember that the third part of the paper is to explain why you chose the pictures that you did in your mini poster. So here's one example that I gave. And then you have to explain all four. Try to get that to 5 sentences, if you can. One sentence for each, and then maybe just an overall one. But so I explained my sentences here, my themes. I explained my pictures. First one I picked was a candlestick because that was the murder weapon in the story. Here's my candlestick. Done. The book down here, I chose this poster format. I picked a book because the body, this is a murder mystery. The body is discovered in a library because the main character went to get a book. And she also discovers the body with a duke who is also there because I can't read books in normal time. It has to be in the past. So her and the duke discover a body in the library, and that's why I picked a book. I picked a magnifying glass because this book is a murder mystery. And then I picked a tree because in the time period this was written, men and women weren't really allowed to be alone together without a chaperone because it was deemed too scandalous. But they wanted to work together on this mystery and solve the murder. And the only way he could get into her room to talk to her was by climbing up a tree. So I would put all the things I just explained in this paragraph. Done. Now it's time for my last paragraph. Why did I pick these themes? So the first theme I chose was trust because the Duke and Beatrice, the main character, had to learn to trust one another in order to solve this mystery. So I put trust here. And then in the next sentence, I would write, I chose pride. I chose pride as a theme because both the Duke and Beatrice were too proud to work together at first. The Duke thought he was too important, and Beatrice didn't want to ask for help. She wanted to do this all on her own, right? So that's my second one. Then I'd explain the other two. I picked intelligence as a theme because if you're having trouble finding a theme, maybe you come up with the message of the story. What's the message there? So if you can't think of the theme, I'll come up with maybe a sentence. So I could say, Beatrice is very intelligent and uses her mind to solve the mystery, along with the Duke. So then intelligence is kind of the key word in that sentence. So then I would explain, I would use intelligence as my theme, and then I would go back and explain Beatrice and the Duke are both very intelligent, and they use that intelligence to solve the murder. Finally, equality, because during this time, women didn't have the right to vote. Women were treated basically as property by men, and so the Duke treats Beatrice as an equal, and that actually means a lot to her. And that's why I picked those themes. So I type that all up. I'm done with my paper. Now the last thing I need to do for my poster is pick 4 quotes from the book. I don't have the book with me, so I just made these up, but I'm just picking quotes that I think are important in the story. So I picked Beatrice found the Duke very pedantic and frustrating, and then the page number. Remember, even if the character is not saying something, it's still a quote if it's taken directly from the book. So just to make this bigger so you can see, this, I think, summarizes how Beatrice felt about the Duke in the beginning. He just likes to talk about anything, and it's annoying to Beatrice at first. And then, so I put quotation marks around it because it's directly from the book. And then in parentheses, you'll put the page number. You don't need to put the author last name because I already know this is the author, but usually you would. And then here's another quote from page 40 that I made up. And then, of course, I have these other 2 that I thought would be, again, just made up. And the Duke actually does say this. He says, it's no wonder no man has taken you to be his wife because she's 26 and single. Ew, she's so old. But again, that is old in those times. So I've got my 4 quotes. All of them have their quotation marks and then the parentheses with the page number. I'm done. See? I'm finished. I think if you just finish the book and you read it and paid attention, this should be a pretty easy assignment for you to get all 40 points on. So this is what it looks like. I'll probably post both of these on Classroom. And if I mess this recording up again, I probably will explode. So hopefully this is a little more helpful and it kind of shows you what the expectations are. You get all of this done. And then this is just what the format would be. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do 1 and 2, because it's just summarizing and giving your opinion. Make your poster, and then explain these and these in your paper, and you're done. Okay? Hopefully this is the last time I have to make this video. Feel free to shoot me a message or look on the book report tab under classwork for more information and examples. Okay? Love you. Mwah. Goodbye.